Boom! What's going on, guys? It's your man Ed Hayes here. I got my man Najee Wyatt and my man Mike Moss here for another weekly recap, guys. We want to let y'all know what's been going on out here in the business. It's been crazy. So let's not waste any time. What's going on, fellas? How's it happening? How's it going? How's it happening? What's going
Speak
on?
English much? Hey, we good. We good, man. We doing good, man.
Boom. Hey, well, look, man.
Phenomenal.
Hey, we out here in these streets the whole time. So let's not waste no time, man. Look, guys, I want to just jump right on into this for everybody that may be watching in live or in the replay. Go ahead and hit that like button. Guys, we got a lot of different topics for you all on this particular one. We're going to be talking about innovations, how they're different from cash deals. What are they? Are they beneficial? Should you be trying to do them? Well, we've been doing a lot of them, and we're going to give y'all some nuggets, some gems that you're only going to find here. Okay. So, second off, we got a bunch of different other topics as well, but other things like talking about the importance of pushing deals all the way through. What's our best advice for wholesalers in 2024 going into 2024? So, look, let's not waste any time, man. I want to talk about these novations, guys. Like, novations have been cracking lately. A lot of people have been talking about them, but there's a lot of things that you may experience if you're trying to do novations. So, us guys, we're gonna kind of break down some of the pitfalls and the beautiful blessings of novation deals. Let's talk about what novations actually are. I'll go ahead and bust it out. I'll bust it out for the community. Okay. So basically, a novation deal is a deal where, basically you're getting the seller to agree to put this property onto the market, basically. You can even just have it in your writing inside of your purchase and sell agreement with that seller. Basically, the seller's agreeing to allow you to list their property onto the market. Well, there's ups and downs and drawbacks and good things and bad things when it comes to novation. So let's kind of talk about it, guys. What tidbits do we have? What can we bless the community with in particular when it comes to novations? What are
Man,
y'all thinking?
first point right away would be make sure you have access.
Yeah.
You either need to have a vacant property with a lockbox on it, or you need to speak to your seller about being able to get inside for access.
hmm That's a big fact. That's a big fact because, like, if you're depending on how you're going to be listing this property as well, let's talk about that, right? It's several different ways that you
Mhm.
could potentially list that property. For instance, you could list it with a flat fee brokerage, something like a brokerless, where you'll hear a lot of other gurus out here talking about them, or you can go with an actual agent. Well, in the scenario that where you're going with an agent, well, the agent can probably go out to the property and actually get a key, like if a person was there and things of that nature. But if you're going with a flat fee listing, you're not going to have anybody that's going to be able to go out to the property unless you're going to pay someone. So you need to know that you have access. You're going to need a key, preferably a lockbox, because access is very, very crucial if you're going to be getting these MLS buyers into your property. Very often they want to go within like the first 24 hours of you having that property online. So you can't waste any time. That's a big one. That's a big one. What say you, Najee? What say you?
Access, definitely. We have one right now. It's been vacant for about 10 years.
Mhm.
And this particular one, I like the seller. He was really down to earth and let him know, essentially we may be listening. It's in our agreement. And he was fine. We're going to look for a cash buyer first, but if we don't find one pretty quick, then we're just going to go ahead and throw it up, seeing that this particular area, there's not a lot going on. But I
Mhm.
think that we have it at a decent enough price to where a flipper would be interested. If not, then we'll just list it. But he's
Boom.
completely fine with it. And having access is going to be very important because you don't want to be burning through your inspection period
Mhm.
with these buyers wanting to get in right now. Like, okay, how do I get access? Oh,
Boom.
well, let me check with the seller real quick. No, I get a lockbox, or if it's something that's potentially boarded up, tell them, hey, you're going to need to take a drill over there, but you can get in through this door, through that door. If you can meet them there, be there with them. Or
Mhm.
if you can have some boots on the ground, be there on your behalf, then have someone there to actually help and walk through the property with that investor.
Boom. So I
And
want to. Oh, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
I was gonna kind of piggyback of what Najee said, um, as far as like kind of being quick on access. Time
Mhm.
kills deals. We all know that.
Totally.
So if you have a buyer that wants to go see a property, right, in the moment, they're like, oh, this looks like a good deal. I think I can make this work. Let me go see it. And you take 2 days to find out how you can get them access, they're going to buy a different property. They're not going to wait on you to spend money.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
So you need to be quick with it.
Yep, 100%. 100%. Time is money. Time kills deals. That's the most important, vital rule to keep in mind. But I want to touch on something that Najee just said as well when he mentioned like you got to at a decent price point to where it may work for a cash investor, or if not, it could still list that property on the MLS. So I kind of want to get like kind of niche that down a little bit more or whatever. We can kind of talk about like I guess like let's talk about some of the pros of actually being able to list the property, because I would say that that's a pro. Like, if
Yes.
you can't find a buyer, maybe it's a rural area or something like that, and it's maybe harder for you to find like an off-market investor, being able to put that property on the market is a massive W, I would say. Also, if you're
Mhm.
not local to the property, another massive W is, if you list it with an agent, now they're able to go over to the property, they can take people through it, they may be able to find you a buyer themselves. It just speeds up the process. Well, not necessarily speeds it up because it tends to take longer, but it makes it more efficient for you, so where you can go on and go do the next deal or the next situation. You don't have to actively try to hunt for buyers. Your agent is doing that. What's some other like pluses would y'all say about having like being able to list properties or like doing the novations? What are some other pluses?
And just getting exposure to a different type of buyer. There's people that want to get a fixer upper to live in. So they're going to potentially pay higher because they're not trying to do a flip. They're not looking to rent it out. They'll look at it and say, oh, wow, I can buy that. And if I
Hmm.
put X amount of dollars into it, I'll have a nice place to live.
Hmm.
So being able to get in front of that crowd is advantageous to us as well when
Right.
going with innovation.
Right. The traditional home buyer, basically being able to reach more people that maybe they're a rehabber and they're willing to take on this little project so it can be like their dream home or something like that. It's a whole different market of people. That's true. That's true. What say you, Mike? Any other benefits of novations that you can think of off the top?
So, I mean, really, that's kind of it that I can think of because you got the agent working for you, helping you if you have an agent. You're getting a way, way bigger buyer pool that are going to
Hmm.
be most of the time happy to, move into it and just kind of work on it slowly, take their
Hmm.
time with doing the flip and updating it. That'll give them equity in the property as well. So that's beneficial for them.
Right.
And it just kind of it gives you more time, like you said, to kind of free up and just do other tasks. You have five
Yeah.
other deals you're working on. You don't want to be sitting here on this one deal trying to figure out access over and over and over again.
Right, right. It can get very, very time consuming. Dispo in general can be a lot of coordinating with buyers, coordinating with
Hmm.
sellers, JV partners, title companies, things like that. It's like a lot of back end work. But having an agent does speed up that process a lot. I really like being able to leverage agents when we're in those super rural areas, right? So it like, it'll be really hard to find somebody, but like traditionally, let's put it like that, on a traditional wholesale, it probably would be hard to find people where there's not that many buyers, just not that much activity. Maybe it's very rural, a lot of land, a lot of farmland, things like that. That's where agents really, really come in handy on those kind of out in the boondocks type properties. So definitely keep that in mind. Now, I want to
Or
transition over though into some of the negatives as well. What are you going to say, Mike?
I would say, or even still, not even just like in a rural area, but maybe even a property that's just locked up closer to market value as well.
Yeah, there you go. Boom. Yeah, that's most of the time. That's exactly why we end up trying to go novation on this particular deal, because the numbers are really kind of tight when it comes to a cash deal. So sometimes we can often offer them way more on a novation deal than what we would have been able to do on a cash deal, like the deal that we have out in Eureka right now. that deal, what, they wanted like 325. That's
Yeah.
a more traditional home buyer price point. Most cash buyers are going to want to pay way less. Well, we end up listing this property with an agent. The agent tells us, "Hey, I think you can get this thing sold in 2 weeks at 399." That's wild. You know what I'm saying? Granted, our projected profit won't actually be that exact amount, because that's one of the downfalls, I guess, we can go into, is that when you're
Yeah.
paying agents on that particular deal, I want to say that our agent fee is like 6%,
Yeah.
right?
Six
So up
percent.
to 6%, depending on if our agent actually finds us a buyer or not. Right. So that's something that you have to keep in mind, guys. So it's like that's a cost involved with putting these properties on the market. Your margin has to be pretty large when we're talking about these price points to actually make it make sense. So, and if that price point is not large enough, you may want to reconsider. Otherwise, you may have to come to the table with money to close on this transaction. Everyone's looking at you at that point. So, so that's a big one, is the price point, like the spreads. You have to have large spreads to even consider doing novations. Um, yeah, and then another thing is like the commissions, because you're going to get taxed so much in commissions, like 5 to 6%, and just real estate commissions. Then you may have to double close on this property unless you're going to use your own money. And I recommend doubleclose.com. Shout out to Kelsey over there. And you also have to pay title fees as well. That can be like a 0.5%, 1%, 2%, depending on the title company and the state that you're going to. So kind of keep that in mind. This thing can really, really add up really, really quickly. That's one of the downfalls. I'm trying to think, like, what's some more downfalls to novations, would you guys say?
The cash conversion cycle.
Boom. Talk
Mhm.
about that. Talk about
Yep.
that. Like, explain to the audience what that is, bro.
So if you're looking to list a property and it goes on the MLS, then essentially we know that we can find a cash buyer within 3 to 5 days on a good deal. If they're asking for more, we know that, okay, we can't present this particular deal to a cash buyer if it's above a certain threshold. So, okay, we're going to list it. By listing it and putting it on the MLS, you're exposing it to, I would say, a slower crowd. If you don't have the numbers to where someone is going to purchase it fast, that retail price is going to be more appealing to a retail buyer, someone a traditional homeowner. They're not moving too quick. They might be using a conventional loan to buy that property. A lot of those people are using loans, is what we see majority of the time, and that's not as fast as we would like it, but it works. So also having letting the homeowner be aware of that too, and having your agreement in place to where there's enough time for them to expect, like, hey, this could take 45 days, this could take 60 days. So we have one
Hmm.
agreement that we just got signed yesterday, and it's 45-day agreement. If we can't find a cash buyer within a week, then our next step is to get with an agent or to do a flat listing agreement and throw it on the MLS to attract that
Hmm.
slower crowd. So I would definitely say that the cash conversion cycle is the downside, because I want my money right now. I want my money
Right.
yesterday, but it is what it is.
Right. So it's basically like, how quickly from the time that we actually put out our money are we actually going to get this money back? And in on novation deals, that thing can stretch out pretty quickly. I mean, they can stretch out pretty far. Let's put it like that. So, on a traditional wholesale, you're in and out in 30 days or less, 9 times out of 10. That's a cash deal. If you go on market, it may take you 45 to 60 days to get that deal done. It may take slightly longer than that. So I think on average, it's like 6 weeks or so, or something like that, is going to take you. So your cash conversion cycle is going to take longer. So you're putting money out there, it's taking longer to come back in versus a traditional wholesale deal. So if you get caught up with like 5, 6, novations out there, you want to make sure that you still have a good amount of cash deals going on as well, because otherwise it's gonna get hard for you to get used to making maybe like the same money, but it's just a longer conversion cycle. You're just waiting longer to get paid. So cash is definitely going to pay you a lot faster on average, because people on the market, they're, very often are going to have lenders, things of that nature. They're coming in with traditional financing. So things just take longer. They have to do inspections, et cetera, et cetera. So kind of keep that in mind.
Appraisals.
That's a big thing, right? Appraisals, the cash conversion cycle is very, very important. You really want that to be like 30 days or less, preferably, like ideally. And if, let's put it like this, if you're going to be doing novations, you have to keep that in mind. So I would say try to keep a steady flow of good cash deals coming in as well, despite the fact that you have these novations in your pipeline. Do yourself a favor, for real. What say you, Mike, on that cash conversion cycle or any other negatives that it takes? I mean, like negatives about novations.
I mean, yeah, honestly, the cash conversion cycle is going to be the biggest thing that you
Mhm.
can focus on. Because if you're out here doing $10,000 deal, $15,000 deal, whatever it is, right? You want that money as fast as you can get it so you can pump it back into your business, get more deals flowing, get
Mhm.
maybe hire staff. Maybe you need marketing expenses to, go pay someone to go take photos or,
Right.
do something for a property. Like you need that money as quick as you can get it. So being able to have novation deals is great as kind of like something in your tool belt, just like creative financing is. But cash deals are always going to be like that bread and butter for you.
That's a big fact. That's a big fact. So boom, yeah, it has to be, at least if you want to get paid quickly.
Right.
But yeah, so and then I guess I'll just kind of finish it up with this, in terms of like the novation conversation that we wanted to bring to you all today. I guess like a couple more negatives is like, or it's like things to consider, I would say, would be that like if you're going to be getting, like getting photos is like another thing or whatever. So like if you're going to be going to list a property in a rural area and you want to go with a company like Brokerless, then you're going to need to have some pictures from someone. Okay, so keep in mind that you can't use pictures from the MLS that's already on the MLS to repost them back onto the MLS. Let's put it like that, right? So you're going to have to get someone to get pictures. So that could potentially be a downfall. So, like, if you're going to do like super rural, then you probably want to list with an agent, because otherwise it may be a pain in the ass to actually get a photographer over there, or it may cost you like hundreds of dollars to have a photographer go over there, and you don't even know whether you're actually going to buy the property or not. You don't know if anyone's even going to want to buy it, right? So that's another thing to
Right.
consider. And even coordinating with sellers can be extremely difficult when you're trying to do these, novations. We've got a deal out in Gold Beach, Oregon right now where the seller is just giving us the hardest time ever. We had another one in like McKinsey, Alabama, where the seller was saying some weird crazy stuff. So it's like just being able to coordinate putting properties on the market can be just difficult in general. And like actually, like it'll be family members that's got the key. You got to have the agent meet up with the family member, and they got to put a lockbox on it, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of different moving pieces with these novations. So keep that in mind. Like right now, I know a lot of people online are talking about novations. Maybe they're making it sound exciting. I just recently interviewed Robert Winsley, and he mentioned that the number one cause of a wholesaling businesses failing, I want to say in 2022 or this year, was the fact that people were doing too many novations. All right, so keep that in
Mhm.
mind. And also, like the other year was, people doing too many deals in rural neighborhoods. So they're going after these super cheap, really easy to get leads, and then no one wants to buy them because no one's buying there. So try to stay within 45 minutes of your major metros in general. That's just really good advice to just in general. 45 minutes from major metros, 250,000 to $500,000 price points. Do yourself a favor out here. Be selective and specific when it comes to these deals and be willing to let some go. And if you're not going to let them go, at least take the advice that we gave you in this portion of the video to actually move, with some logic and some clarity, understanding the pitfalls that may come. Boom. So,
Boom.
anything else y'all want to add on to this novations? Or should we just move on to the next point? No?
Uh, I would say
Mhm.
staying in touch with the seller during the process too, because as time goes on, sometimes they can switch up on you.
That's a fact. Time
Mhm.
kills deals, man. I think Mike said it best. Time kills deals. So yeah, that communication is key for real. Buyers, sellers, everyone for that matter.
Right.
Okay, so man, let's move right on over to the next topic, y'all. We got a good one for y'all. So we're gonna talk about this deal that we just locked up in Louisiana. Um, that literally went off the shelves in no time, basically. So you wanna talk about that, son, Mike? You wanna introduce that for the community?
Yeah, yeah, sure. So this deal here, we actually ended up connecting with the seller through our JV partner, Elijah. He was direct to the seller, and we were talking to the seller before, and we ended up getting a marketing agreement with them. To say, hey, we can try and find a buyer for it. We ended up getting it on creative terms with, I think it was like 30,000 down, and I can't remember the amount financed, but it was seller finance deal.
Hmm.
And something like that. The seller is an investor, right? He owns multiple properties, right? So he knows already, what we're doing. He knows, okay, like I think these are good terms that could get it sold. He's not necessarily selling it to us like for bottom dollar, but it's a reasonable amount that would make sense, right?
Hmm.
So the property there on creative terms, we were able to put it out to a bunch of our buyers, and we actually ended up getting it sold from marketing agreement with the seller signed to an assignment contract with the buyer in 7.5 hours, less than one work day.
Boom! Jesus Christ. Less than a work day out here just getting it in the right way
Um,
indeed, man. For real. Uh-oh. Look like we may have lost Najee there for a second. That's all good.
he'll be back.
Yeah, he'll be back.
But
But
yeah,
man.
and another thing too with that, like me and Ed were talking and kind of like going back and forth about it with the buyer that we had. The buyer is cool. Like he was happy, he's excited. He texted me yesterday when we closed, like, yeah, thank you. You got some, money coming to you. Let's do some more deals together. He's happy. Seller's happy. We got another property now with this seller that we're actually working on that's valued at $1 million. So that just
Boom.
shows by us being able to put in the work and sell this one so fast, he knows what kind of work we do. Now he's trusting us with $1 million property,
Mm.
right?
Mhm.
That's crazy.
Mhm.
That's awesome. But with the buyer, we had a lot of interest, right? We had multiple people hitting us up about the property, running numbers on it. We ended up getting a buyer, and he was like, "Oh, well, I want to, do some more numbers and da da da." We've been talking already for a couple hours. He had been running numbers and stuff, and we just told him because we started at one price and then reduced it by, I think it was like $2,500, and then he
Yeah.
wanted to get it down another like 2,000, and we were like, "Look, like if you sign today, we'll do this price. If you wait," it was already like 10 p.m. at night. You
Mhm.
wait another 2 hours, that price is going up. So
Boom. So tell
if
me
you
why
want
did you
it,
do that though? Why did you do that though? Why don't you break that down to him?
because like number one, like we said earlier, time kills deals, right? Number two, it when you have a buyer on the hook, right, and they're running numbers, they're looking at the property, they're looking at pictures, they're asking you questions about the area, they're interested.
Mhm.
But as we all know, we're all consumers too, right? We like to think stuff over, right? We like to, oh, well, I saw this, bag at the mall or this whatever. Let me think about it. I'm not really sure right now. Let me
Mhm.
think if I really want that, right?
Analysis paralysis.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Exactly. So it's the same thing in real estate, right? He's already looked at the area, ran numbers, looked at photos. We've had multiple conversations about the property, but he's stuck. Like, is this?
Right,
Do
right.
I want this? Right? You need to give them that little like push. Like, yes, you do.
Boom.
Go
You're
ahead and
flipping them
sign.
over. tipping them over
Right.
the edge or whatever. Boom, just
Right.
helping them make the decision that ultimately
Right.
he wanted to make anyway. He's reaching out to you. He's already doing this
Hmm.
analysis, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, you're 100% right. That's the way. And sometimes you just got to strong arm these deals. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
As
Hey.
we said
Got
for a long
to.
time. Sometimes you just got to strong
Yep.
arm. Like, hey, look, sign today or the price goes up tomorrow, like an Italian
Hmm.
mobster almost. You know what I mean? Just out here strong
Hey.
arming these deals. You know?
And and it's not even like in a disrespectful way, but put some respect on my name. Either you want the deal or you don't. So, and look, he's cool. He texted me like, "Yo, let's do some more deals together." He respects us for that. Like, hey, bro, either you want it or you don't.
Yeah,
They'll
yeah,
respect you for that.
that's
Right.
100% true. That's 100% true. But yeah, you want situations like that where you can kind of get them in, get them out. You know what I'm saying, and have a good situation. And like everyone leaves happy. And it's boom, it's in, out, done, on to the next one. And then like actually being able to kind of show a seller if they have a portfolio that you can get it done. Um, Hey, maybe they throw you more inventory. That's usually what
Hmm.
happens. You end up getting more opportunities from those individuals. So we'll see what happens with this DC deal. Definitely
Yep.
check out all of our deals over at dealflowtoday.com. Only if you a buyer. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to just be talking to a whole bunch of people. You know what I'm
Don't just
saying?
randomly try and JVR deals. By the way, please don't do that.
Uh,
For real though, because that does happen. It's kind of funny out here. But yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, that was a good one though. That was definitely a good one. That 7.5 hours. And just for the record or whatever, that buyer actually came from good old investor lift, man. You know what I'm saying? So definitely make sure that y'all use the links down below to check out investor lift for yourself. Take advantage of the discount code that y'all will see down there or whatever to be able to get a little bit of a discount off of the software as well, because that's literally for the vast majority of our deals where we end up finding our buyers from. We do have other methods and strategies as well or whatever, but investor lift just gets the job done, and we can really quickly get a pulse on the investor community to kind of see, is this going to be a good deal or not. We literally know within like hours whether a deal is going to sell or not. We're like, okay, it's getting that
and
amount
that
of
traction.
traction. Yeah, you'll get property address requests, inquiries. People be calling you via text, like calling you, texting you, blowing you up basically about the deal if it is going to sell. So definitely take advantage. We're personally on the lieutenant level of the plan, just letting y'all know. So like if y'all like end up getting the pro plan, you may want to upgrade to that lieutenant plan to have the same experience that we have, so you can send out your deals to over, what is it, like 1.2 plus million people, something like that. I
Oh
believe
yeah.
it is. Yeah, like over 1.2 something million people that we can shoot our deals out to. So take advantage, guys. Treat yourself. Don't cheat yourself, for real. Um, Hold on. It was, oh, okay. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Okay. So let me see what else do we have on the docket today. Let's see okay, so another topic, guys, that I wanted to bring to the community today is going to be like the importance of like really pushing these deals through all the way through the table, like quickly, like actually putting in the effort. I kind of just want to talk about that or whatever. I don't think a lot of people really realize what it really takes to get a deal all the way through. So I kind of wanted to talk about that. It'd be like several different things that we don't consider. So let's talk about it, guys. Like I think that very often these deals can get stagnant, right? So like you'll end up in a situation where you've already talked to the seller, and then like mentally, like once you've got that property under contract, you can feel like you've already sold it. Right. And that at least that's been my experience sometimes. So you feel like you've already sold this deal, and like the motivation or the energy necessary to actually keep doing all the tasks necessary to get the job done, sometimes that starts to wane. Or maybe you forget, maybe you get lost in the sauce with other deals and things of that nature. But actually getting these deals to and through the closing table, it's really where all the money is. And very often we allow these deals to get stagnant, and like Mike said earlier, time kills deals. So I want to kind of talk about that, guys. Like what other things have you all noticed in terms of like deals getting stagnant? Like what should the audience be thinking of if they want to make sure that their pipeline is not just getting stagnant and they're actually pushing deals through?
I would
Man,
say,
Go ahead now.
The one of the main ones would be it comes down to the location that you're doing your deals in. We do a lot of deals in places that we've never done deals before, and
Hmm.
some of these places are rural, and sometimes it takes a couple of days to get someone out there to take photographs. So if you have a buyer that's like, hey, I'm ready to go now, and you're trying to find a good photographer and keep it cost efficient, that could be an issue. I think we paid almost $400 to get some photographs of a property when normally we're paying less than 100 in our normal metropolitan markets. But when it's way out in the boonies, and they're like, "Hey, we don't have any agents for that area way out there, and we have to go and use someone that is like, hey, look, you have two arms and two legs. I want at least an arm and a leg to go take these photographs. You'll be all right with what you have left." We get these type of photographers. So if you're just starting out, let's say that you're not prepared to have that in your budget, and you get this property under contract, and you're like, okay, let me find someone to take photographs, and they're like, okay, that'll be 350. you know that can cause a
Yep.
delay. What if you have, three or four of these deals and they're in rural areas? Now you have to come up with a thousand
Right.
dollars to get photographs, and who knows if you're going to close the deal or not. Are you
Exactly.
prepared to take
Right.
that hit? So that's one thing to take into consideration when you're trying to actually push the deal through, is knowing what it's going to entail to get that deal through the closing table. If you're not particularly familiar with that area, you're going to want to have some money. If you're going to go into these areas, don't think that it's just, okay, I got this deal, it's rural, there's not going to be any competition, I'm going to find a buyer. You might have some trouble, you might have to do innovation, you might have to lean on an agent to actually help you get that deal closed. But just be prepared for the things that you're not normally prepared for in a
Hmm.
deal that's not necessarily a big market or your main market.
Boom. I think that's a great valid point right there. Things could definitely slow down the process, and even just getting picks and things of that nature. If you're not thinking about this consciously, see, this is why we're telling y'all now. This is why we're telling y'all what to expect. So then we're helping y'all traverse this minefield. You don't have to do it yourself. So like little things like that can make a difference. What say you, Mike?
Man, for me, I would say there's two things. Number one is getting your documents out and not waiting
Mhm.
to send them to title or the buyer if you're doing an assignment, or you know what I mean? Because the longer you wait to send that document to the buyer, now they're thinking about the deal. Like, do I really want that?
Mm-hmm.
So you need to get those out quickly. And then also in relation to that, you need to get this deal into title. You
Mm-hmm.
because some areas title takes 2 weeks. You don't get a 2 or 3 day title commitment.
Yeah.
It takes 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And some areas, even if you pay for expedited title, you're still waiting because they're at the mercy of the city or whatever it is that they need documents from. So
Super.
you need to be pushing that through as quick as possible.
Yeah, yeah, that's another big one. Jesus Christ. It's so many different things that you may not be aware of, but you have to be kind of quick on your toes, if you will, to be able to like solve problems as fast as possible, because there's so many different things that are going to happen on almost every deal. It seems like it's something going on every deal that's just kind of random or different for the most part, at least. So you have to be really good at problem solving to actually be able to push these deals through, because sometimes deals get stagnant, like the guys are saying, access, can be very, very important. It can be kind of throwing you off. It can be getting documents out or allowing them to actually run the title search process could be kind of slowing you down in the process. It can even be like was mentioned, like coordinating with sellers and agents and actually getting the property listed, or if you are going to go innovation and things of that. There's so many different things that can kind of stagnate these deals, and you have to always keep your inspection period in mind, and you got to be communicating with sellers, title companies, buyers. It's a lot to really consider, but your ultimate goal is to not allow your pipeline to get stagnant, because Otherwise, you're not making any money, man. Once again, time kills deals. And so we have to be really, really expediting these processes as quickly as possible. Once the seller signs, very often they just kind of mentally check out from these deals. And so it may be hard to kind of keep them in that flow of doing things for you. Like when you're getting the contract signed, you need to be having that conversation. Well, John, look, I'm going to definitely need access in the next 48 hours so I can get my people out there to be able to, get the pics and videos and things of that nature of the property. You want to be expediting things as quickly as possible. Don't let the deal get stagnant. Don't take a long time. Move this stuff along. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a bunch of dead deals basically because time will just kill them. They'll start to back out. One of your competitors will offer them more money. Like so many different things can go wrong. Death in the family on their end. Now they need a week to make a decision, et cetera, et cetera. They want to let their attorney see it. The attorney's on vacation, et cetera, et cetera. It's always something. You have to be quick on your toes and be able to solve problems so you don't allow these deals to stagnate. Super, super important, guys. I want y'all to keep that in mind for real. Like, we got to push these deals all the way through. I think a lot of people get deals under contract and then they're like, well, what do I do now? So we're kind of giving y'all some of that
Yeah.
back end, like, okay, this is what you need to be thinking in advance. So if you haven't done a deal yet, I hope that this, us talking about this right now can give you some guidance, some advice going into those first deals that you're going to be doing. So now it's like, okay, I didn't know that this could happen. We're telling you that this could happen. So be aware, take some notes, and actually go out there and prepare yourself, like take action effectively now that you know other people's experience on what actually happens once you put the property under contract. For real. Anyway, though, man, I think we'll go ahead and move on to the next one. I think that that's a good one, though. I like y'all really should take some notes, take that advice in right there because, they don't tell you this stuff. You're not going to see that online and stuff like that about like how to make sure that your deals don't get stagnated and things of that nature. So, boom, I hope that that helps. So, I got some rapid fire tips for you all that I kind of want to go through and whatnot. Try to see if we can bless the community with some gems. So on this one, I really kind of want to talk about just like ways to get like credibility and more visibility online. So why don't we talk about that, guys? Like what are some tips? What are some places that people can put their businesses to make sure that they're actually getting traction out here? Like maybe some ways that people aren't really talking about. Maybe I'll start off with one, the Better Business Bureau. Boom. A lot of people aren't doing that, but that Better Business Bureau like emblem or logo on your site can go a huge way, especially for older people who make their decisions, based off things like the BBB and things of that nature. So that's one. What say you guys?
I
Mike
would say
or Najee? Yeah, bust it out. One of y'all. I know
I
one of
would
y'all
say
got something for me.
I
For
would
me and Najee.
say your local chamber of commerce. Definitely your local chamber
Boom.
of commerce. They're going to put you in a directory. You'll go in a catalog, and in there you're going to have people that do all different types of industries, different experts in different industries, and you'll be in there. And you can describe what your business does and how you can add value. And when the people need you, they're going to go to their colleagues and that are members of the chamber of commerce. So you're
Mhm.
inside of an inner circle, and it's great for networking. There's a lot of builders that are in the chamber of commerce, and just by you being in it and letting them know, hey, this is what value I have to offer, just like that, you have a relationship.
Mm.
Now you
Ooh.
have a buyer. Now you have several buyers. Definitely join your local chamber of commerce. Just Google it, find out when they're meeting up, go there, shake some hands, and exchange some phone numbers, and let them know that you're around. Let them know that you exist.
Boom. I really like that one actually. That's a really good one. The Chamber of Commerce. That seems like a pretty kind of like a niche idea that you don't hear that many people talking about. What say you, Mike? Like what are some other ways that people can get their business more visible, maybe in ways that people don't really talk about very often?
Mhm. So for me, I would say like Yelp would be a good one, potentially Google My Business. But for me personally, because you guys both know, like I'm not big on like social media or whatever. I really don't care. I don't post, nothing like that. But this year, since we've linked up and we do deals and stuff,
Hmm.
I've been posting more. And that's it's a common thing like social media or whatever. But from someone like myself who really used to never post, I don't care, like whatever, that's
Mhm.
went a long way so far. Even just this year, bro. Like I've got people even yesterday like reaching out like, hey, how'd you get this deal? Like, hey, how are y'all locking this seller finance up on 0%
Right.
interest? Like, how are you doing this? Like, oh, how'd that deal go? Like, so, and because of that, you're going to start to build credibility. You're going to start to
Mhm.
have people in the community in the real estate space like, oh, I see you out here. Like, you post this deal, you've got this deal for sale, you close this one. Like, hey, I want to get in this. Like, can you help me sell this deal? Or maybe, what inventory do you have? Like, I had someone yesterday that reached out to me for like just kind of information, right? Like, hey, how are you guys getting all these seller finance deals locked up?
Right.
Turns out he's now looking at that $1 million property that we have in DC. He might actually buy it.
Hey, that's
That wouldn't
crazy.
have happened if I wasn't out there like posting and you know what I mean? Kind of just putting myself out there to kind of build up credibility.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
that's very interesting. That's true. Like social media is kind of like social media is like the new public forum, if you will. It's almost weird. It's like if you're talking to, let's say like millennials and younger, it's like if you don't have social media and stuff like that, it's almost strange. Like you kind of come
They
off
feel
almost
like
like
it's
weird.
dirty.
Yeah, and people almost see like your social image is almost equally, if not more important than like your actual real life. It's kind of wild. Like people will judge you off of that. So I think that, yeah, what Mike said, like getting credibility on social media and things like that or whatever can go a long way in 2023 because everyone's looking for the clout and stuff like that or whatever, or everyone's looking for the sauce, if you will, and they love to see
Mhm.
people that's actually doing it. So if you're actually doing it, that's a great way to kind of get your business out there. Like for all of you all out there that are actually closing deals with sellers, you're doing a good job. Maybe you're just doing like 1 to 4 or 5 to 9 deals in a year. Hey, reach back out to those sellers that you close those deals with. Try to get testimonials from them, like things like that or whatever. That takes things to the next level. You can put that on these same directories that we were talking about, right? Like on Yelp, you can have your reviews or the testimonials or your Google My Business page, things of that nature, local directories, the Chamber of Commerce. You want to be putting your stuff out there, but you want to make it obvious that you actually do the work. So I think that that's like, one of the best ways that you can actually put it out there is by um, leveraging social. Like that's where the eyeballs are a lot of times is on social. Even when it comes to your testimonials and things of that nature. So that's our like real like tip for you for today or whatever is make sure that you get your business more visibility. Like you can get a lot, you can get natural leads just coming into you, just calling you because you're listed in the Chamber of Commerce, because you have the Better Business Bureau logo on your page, or you're listed in the Business Bureau as a reputable real estate company in that market. Come on, think about how powerful that can be. You register your business in, let's say, like Las Vegas or Houston, Texas, or something like that. And then you get registered in the local Better Business Bureau and the Chamber of Commerce, things of that nature. So when they're looking for a reputable company, they find yours. Get yourself on Google My Business. Actually have some previous people review your page and things of that nature. Get on Yelp, do the same thing. People naturally search the internet for solutions. So if you're just putting your business out there more, you're going to get more opportunities to make more money just naturally coming in to you without you having to do anything but just sharing what you've already done. Like basically what Mike was just saying. Boom. That's good stuff right there. That's good stuff. That's some sauce right there for real. We putting
Straight like
y'all
that.
on out here, man. This is what we do. So, all right, though, guys. I want to finish off this podcast really quickly with us three giving the community our best advice for wholesalers going into 2024. All right, so let's talk about it, guys. Like, what say you guys? Why don't we start off with Najee? You want to jump in here? What's your best
Yeah.
advice, Najee, for a wholesaler going into 2024? We're ending this year. If they want to end this year strong and start off next year smoothly and efficiently, what's on the agenda?
I would say team up with some people that are killing it. Uh, s- Definitely team up and stop doing so much teaming up with people that haven't necessarily closed any deals. I know we're all trying to get a deal out here, but they haven't figured it out, and you guys are like working together trying to figure it out. Then you guys need to get with someone that's already got it figured out, and do
Mhm.
that together. But definitely find someone that's already killing it and offer some type of solution in their business. Offer some type of solution and be committed. Be very committed if you're going to join their team. Don't leave
Mhm.
after a week or two, or don't slow down when you don't see those results that you're necessarily looking for. Be committed and get some help. Like definitely get some
Real
help.
talk. Real talk. That's great advice, seriously. Because that's advice that we all can use at in one time or another, you know? Like make sure that you're putting in as much work if you're gonna come on someone else's team and stuff like that. Be committed. It's not gonna be easy, but expect for it to be worth it. That's what really, really matters. What say you, Mike?
Man, for me, I would say efficiency. Definitely
Mm,
efficiency is going to be like number one because you need to not only be efficient in what you're doing, but you need to also have SOPs,
mm.
standard operating procedures on how you run your business, right? You need to have
What do those
software.
look like? What do those look like? Real quick, I don't mean to cut
I
you
got
off, but why don't you break
you.
that
Got
down? What do those SOPs look
you.
like practically speaking?
Hmm. So, it could be anything from like having a CRM where you kind of keep all of your data inside. Maybe inside of your CRM, like what we have, you have different sections that might say, this deal needs to be listed on the market. Hey, this deal is, in negotiations. Hey, this deal we need to post somewhere. This
Mhm.
deal, maybe we still have a buyer to follow up with. You need to have a system that you can go inside of, put notes, and keep track of what you're doing. There's plenty of
Mhm.
times where all three of us will be working on a deal and we have to go back into that deal maybe a week later, 2 weeks later, and be like, what happened with this? What was that last phone call? That
Mhm.
Najee had with that seller? Like, what did they say exactly? And we can go back in there and look at the notes and say, oh, that's right. I remember that now. So
Mhm.
you need to have something where you're not trying to just like write stuff down on paper or just mentally remember everything. When you start doing volume and you have, 5, 10, 10 or more deals that you're working on at a
Mhm.
time, your brain cannot remember all these different little details of every single deal. I don't
Right.
care who you
So
are,
true.
you're not going to be able to. So
Right.
you need to have something that you can accurately keep track of what's happening and where that deal is at in your pipeline.
Yeah, I totally, totally agree. I like the points that you hit on, like systems and SOPs. Like in terms of the SOPs, I think that that's super, super important as well. Like being able to be like, okay, this is what we do when a deal comes in. Like, okay, like, this person's going to talk to this person, then they're going to transfer him over to this person, then they're going to transfer him over to that person, and we're going to get the contract signed. Then it's going to go to the title company, and then Dispo does this with the deal, et cetera, et cetera. Or it's like, hey, look, we need to call a minimum of this many buyers per day, or this many sellers per day, or, have just like your thresholds for everything, because like whatever you're not tracking, you're not improving on, and that's the most important thing at any given time. We need to be improving, especially
Yep.
if you're just getting started, right? If you're doing less than, let's say, a dozen deals a year, then trust me, you've got a lot more like systems and SOPs to get in order. And you need to know that it's not going to be easy, but you have to be willing to kind of roll with the punches, figure it out along the way, learn from other people that are already doing it, like Najee said, and take those SOPs and systems very, very seriously. You don't want your leads, some of them over here in text messages. You got some of them over here in emails. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all was chatting about it in the virtual office on another day on a Zoom chat or something. You're all over the place. You want everything organized, and you got it. Yeah, so it's a lot of little things or whatever. I like the points that you guys came with. So I'm gonna see. I'm gonna give my like best advice, like end of year advice going into 2024. That's funny because I wrote that question or whatever. Now I'm thinking like, huh, what is it? Like, like actually pondering it. Um, yeah, I think it's something similar to what you guys are saying. I think that like just knowing that, let's put it like, no, 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 I'm trying to give like the hottest sauce that I can. So I would say like if you're gonna do anything in 2024, I would say my best advice going into 2024, one is going to be to learn creative and other strategies like that. So novation deals subject to seller financing and cash. Like you want to have all of those and other options if necessary or whatever, like connecting them with a private lender and things of that nature. There's so many different things that you can do. Get as learned as possible about the actual value that you can give people. Let's just put it like that. The more knowledge that you have, the more service you can provide, and therefore the more money you can earn for providing those services. So I say get as learned as possible about those creative strategies. And then second off, increase your deal size. Stop trying to do a bunch of baby deals. So if you're only looking for like $5,000 on this deal, 10,000, I would say just pass on that, y'all, or get them lower, or just pass. It's simple as that. Or if you learn other creative strategies, guess what? That deal that you could have made $5,000 on just a straight cash wholesale deal. If you learn how to do, let's say, like a seller finance deal, even in a cheap market, boom, now you can get 10, 15, 20,000 off that same deal. You just structure it differently. So get bigger deal spreads. You want to be looking from somewhere between like 25 minimum threshold to 50 plus on your assignments. If not, you're kind of setting yourself up for disaster, to be honest. You're setting yourself up to not actually meet the threshold to be able to reinvest back into your business, live comfortably, paid staff potentially, things of that nature. So I would say that those are my two biggest pieces of advice. Make sure that you increase those deal spreads. And what was the other one? Look, I forgot already. Oh, damn.
Strategy.
Yeah, and learn creative strategy so you can give more value to people. And just by default, if you do the first one, it should be really easy to do the second one because now you got more options available to you. Bang! Just like
Boom.
that. Just like that, man. So anyway, though, man, hey, this is a good one, y'all. This is a good one, man. I like this session. We kind of flow through these topics really, really well, nice and succinctly. Is there anything else that we want to add to the community? Anything else that we want to, provide before we go ahead and wrap this thing up? Anything else we want to let the community know?
Man, for me, I would say, not necessarily as far as like a SOPs or like a business, quote unquote, but like, man, like you and me, Ed, were just talking about this last night. Like,
Hmm.
just keep pushing, like, cause bro, like, we've been out in the trenches for years, bro, and like, I lost my job earlier this year, and that pushed me to do this, right?
Boom. Look
And
at
if
that.
it wasn't for you and Najee both being right there, like, hey, we're gonna figure this shit out. I
Boom.
probably would have just went back and got a job and been like, hey, can't do it. Right?
That would have been really easy too. And no one would have been mad at you, have been looking at you funny or anything like
Right?
that. But you may have been looking at
But
yourself funny.
exactly, bro. And then because we've been wanting to do this for a long time, but then it's like, okay, well, damn, can I? Like we had like a bad month, 1 month, then it's like, okay, something happened with this deal over here. It's like, damn, is this worth it? But then it's like now we kind of picking up steam. It's like, oh yeah, it's worth it. It ain't gonna be easy, but it's gonna be worth it, that's for sure.
Yeah, man. That's how business always is, though. All businesses experience ups and downs. Some months are going to be better than others, et cetera, et cetera. And that's
Mhm.
the side that no one really talks about as well, or whatever. That's why we came on and did like a whole session on like a month that was really bad for us because no one talks about this stuff. And I just like being transparent. I feel like it's a lot of cap out here, as the kids say.
Yeah.
It's a lot of like like
It's
foolery
okay
going
to
on. Like it's like smoke and mirrors in our reality. When I personally know that a lot of people that's like, oh yeah, we out here doing X, Y, and Z, like they're struggling. Their business is not hitting the way that they wanted to, and things like that, or whatever. It's not always going to be perfect. That anybody tells you that their business is just on a straight upward trajectory at all times, they're full of cap. Like for the extreme most part, at least, it's just not. It just doesn't work like that. You get what I'm saying? Otherwise, everybody would be billionaires if that was the case. You know what I mean? Like if everyone's business just perpetually took off. So we all have ups and downs, but That's a great point right there, Mike. You got to be willing to stay in the trenches even when times get hard, because the universe is always going to be asking you, how bad do you want this? And if you're willing to give up at the first sign of adversity, you ain't built for this. You ain't built for this. Don't even get started in the first place. Or just get out right now. Like, do yourself a favor, just get
Yeah.
out. If you're not about that adversity life, if you don't crave adversity, this probably ain't for you. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, if you just want a sweet time where everything is just easy, not complicated, and da da da, this ain't that. At least not day one. If you're sitting back in the beach somewhere in Hawaii and you got a 20-person staff, 7-person staff, or something like that, yeah, maybe it'll kind of make sense like that. But if you're actually working in the business, oh, it comes with a lot of adversity. I'll come with a lot of adversity. And if you ain't about that adversity life, you might as well just stay on the benches for real, because this thing is not a game out here for real. Well, it is a game, but you got to be willing to play it fully, not just for the times when you're making baskets, but when you miss them too. Facts. Boom. Anyway, though, guys, man, I think that's just about it. Najee, did you have anything else that you wanted to add in? But like before we get up out of here.
Um, Something slightly. I would say this little tidbit of advice, and I wanna ask you about it, Mike, because I think that you handle this really well. When you have buyers that are trying to get in your business, you presented a deal,
Mm,
you know, and then it's like, hey, like, how much are you making? Or they may
Mm,
ask that inadvertently, like on a creative deal, we
mhm.
may have an entry fee, and they
right.
may be asking you like, hey, can you give me a breakdown of the entry fee? And if we're telling them, hey, well, that's going to, our cost to the seller, our cost of expenses, and of course some profit for the company. Like, how do you handle those when you have this buyer that's you presented this property to, and they want to know what you're putting in your pocket, but they're not straight up asking, but you know that that's what they're asking.
That's
Right,
a great
right.
question.
That's a good question, Najee. Man, I would say number one, you have to be able to kind of like discern like what they mean, right? We all know that if you ask, "Hey, can I get a breakdown of what the entry fee is?" We all know what you want to see, right? Let's be honest, right? So you don't care how much goes to the seller. All you need to know is what that number is that you got to pay to get in the deal, right? So as far as that, man, I typically just handle it like, if the numbers make sense for you, they make sense for you, right? If I lock this property up for $500 or $5,000 or $50,000,
Mhm.
if you can come in, do what you need to do, and still make your profit, it doesn't matter what I locked it up for, right? I could be making
That's a
a
fact.
$10,000 fee on this deal or $100,000 fee. It
Mhm.
doesn't make a difference. If you're the buyer and you can come in and you can flip the property and still make your money, or you can rent it out and cash flow how you want to cash flow, that should be the only thing that matters to you. And there's plenty of buyers out there that'll try and count your pockets like, oh, well, I only pay wholesalers $5,000 or $10,000 or whatever. Like, you don't want to work with them. Let them go pay someone else 5,000, right? Because I'm not
Yep.
out here taking all this time and energy to lock up a deal with the seller, right? Make sure that I'm doing the best service to them, offering what they need to make, $2,000, $5,000, because a
Mhm.
buyer wants to put additional money in their pocket, right? I'm not against buyers making money, but don't try and count my pockets to add to yours.
Right.
Right.
Oh man, I super feel you on that, man. And buyers be on that too. Like they'll be all up
Hmm.
in your pockets. Like, well, what's the breakdown of this seller finance deal? How much of it is the seller getting it? How much I need the entire breakdown. Like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you
No,
don't.
you
And it's
don't.
perfectly fine. Look, and you can always just roll with the hey, look, it's company policy that we don't discuss how much money we're making with our buyers. If like, because especially if we're double closing, you're out your mind. Like, what are you talking about? Like, why would we be
Right.
like telling you how much money we're gonna be making on the deal if we're double closing? That's like the whole purpose. And then either way, it's like just make an offer that makes sense. Make an offer
Right.
that makes sense. If it makes sense, buy it. It doesn't matter how much money I'm making on it. It comes off as like rude and disrespectful sometimes, to be honest.
Hmm.
For real. Yeah, that's a great question though, Najee. That's interesting. Yes, that happens all the time too. It happens all the time, but you have to be willing to walk away. You got to stand on something or you'll fall for anything. That's a fact. And you
Yeah.
can't just let yourself
Yeah.
get bullied by these buyers or these sellers. But then you see a bunch of wholesalers just got the deal locked up at the price that the seller said that it was worth, type stuff. Like, no, bro, like
Right.
that's not how you do the business. Like, like we're trying to make money out here. What are y'all doing? You'll get bullied on both ends. Sellers
Right.
bullying you up, buyers bullying you down. Like,
Got
come
five
on,
thousand
man.
dollar spread. It's over.
Right,
You
It's
want
right.
down like
over.
Bro. So now
$500
here,
at closing?
bro, like
You're
literally,
getting it from both
literally.
sides.
I've literally like one of my guys, I ain't gonna say his name or whatever. One of my guys literally told me that he closed the deal and made $500. I was like, bro, what are we
No
doing,
way.
bro? I was like, bro, that's
Yeah.
literally like crackhead prices. That's what I'm thinking. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, that's like literally crackhead prices. That's not right, right? Like, we can't be selling them for that cheap. Like, Jesus Christ. I know it's in like, a lower cost area. I think it's like Cleveland or something like that, but Jesus Christ. Anyway. But yeah, man, watch y'all pockets. Don't let these buyers watch your pockets. Watch your pockets by not letting the buyers be watching your pockets. For real. You ain't got to
Right.
tell everybody how much money you're making on every deal. Never. I would never. Anyway, but yeah, man. Good talk today, though. Let's definitely, hey guys, look, we got a lot more of these coming. As always, man, we're gonna be out here giving y'all this raw sauce. So always stay tuned to the channel, man. We'll clip some of this up into some smaller videos as well, so y'all can check it out. Drop a comment down below if y'all appreciate the game, the gems, the value that we dropped in this one. Hit that like button, share it with a friend if you think that they would like it as well. If you think that they need the sauce, definitely share it with them as well. And yeah, guys, I think that's just about it, man. Hey, look, until next time, guys, we are hosts. Boom.